What would you do if you looked into a mirror and saw a stranger staring back? That's the question Kim Do-hyun faces at 2 in the morning, standing in a rundown diner in Seongsu-dong, Seoul. Rain hammers the windows. The neon sign flickers. Half the letters dead, the other half bleeding pink and blue onto wet pavement. Inside, the air is thick with fryer oil and burnt coffee. A man in a stained apron wipes down the counter. His name is Kim Do-jin, 32 years old. He's worked the late shift here for 3 years straight, serving drunk students and taxi drivers who need coffee to stay awake. He doesn't complain. Life taught him not to expect much. Across from him stands Nyla, 24. Dark skin glowing under harsh fluorescent lights, her locks tied back with a fabric scrap she sewed herself. She's the cashier, and she's learned to read people fast. You have to, when you're a black woman working nights in a foreign city. She watches the door, always watches the door. Tonight, trouble walks in wearing leather jackets. 4 men. Voices too loud, shoulders too wide. They don't sit. They stand in the narrow aisle, blocking the only exit. The tallest one, scar cutting through his left eyebrow, slams his hand on the counter. "We're looking for someone. A guy who owes money. Heard he works here." Nyla's voice stays level. "We don't keep track of anyone's debts." The man laughs, ugly and sharp. "Smart mouth for a foreigner." Do-jin moves between them, placing his body in front of Nyla. His voice is quiet but firm. "If you're not ordering, you need to leave." The scarred man's smile drops. "You giving me orders?" "I'm asking you to respect this space." Tension coils tight. Nyla's hand inches toward the phone beneath the counter. Then the door opens. A man in a tailored black suit steps inside, shaking rain from his coat. His hair is perfectly styled, his expression carved from ice. 2 bodyguards in dark glasses flank him like shadows. He moves like he owns every room he enters. The thugs notice him, exchange glances, and slip out into the rain without another word. The man in the suit glances around the diner with barely concealed distaste. Then his eyes land on Do-jin. He freezes. Do-jin looks up. Their eyes meet. It's like staring into a mirror that shouldn't exist. The resemblance isn't close. It's identical. Sharp jawline, high cheekbones, even the faint scar above the left eyebrow, though this stranger's is more recent, still pink around the edges. Nyla's breath catches. She looks between them, her mind spinning. The man in the suit, Kim Do-hyun, CEO of Kim Group, heir to a corporate empire worth billions, stares at Do-jin like he's witnessing something impossible. "Who are you?" His voice could freeze water. Do-jin's throat tightens. "I work here. Who are you?" "Don't play games." Do-hyun steps closer, his bodyguards moving with him. "Did someone send you? Are you trying to blackmail me?" Nyla stands up fast. "He's not that kind of person. You don't get to insult him without knowing anything about who he is." Do-hyun's eyes snap to her. No one speaks to him like that, ever. But something in her steady gaze, something fearless and true, makes him pause. He looks back at Do-jin, at the worn apron, the exhausted eyes, the hands roughened by years of washing dishes and mopping floors. For just a heartbeat, Do-hyun feels something unfamiliar crawling up his spine. Doubt. He turns sharply and walks out. The door swings shut behind him, bell jingling. Nyla exhales slowly. Do-jin leans against the counter, his hands trembling. "What just happened?" she whispers. Do-jin doesn't answer. He's staring at the rain-streaked window, at the blurred reflection of his own face. Who was that man? And why does he look exactly like me? Across the city, in a glass penthouse overlooking the Han River, Do-hyun pours himself whiskey. His hands are rock steady. They always are. But tonight, the drink tastes wrong. He sets the glass down and pulls out his phone. Find out everything about the man working at Seongsu Diner on 3rd Street. I want a full report by morning. His assistant's voice crackles through the line. Yes, sir. Do-hyun hangs up. He stands at the window, watching rain streak down glass. That man has my face. That's impossible. Unless... He stops the thought before it finishes. Some possibilities are too dangerous to consider. In a cramped studio apartment with peeling wallpaper, Do-jin lies awake, staring at cracks in the ceiling. He touches his own face, traces the faint scar above his eyebrow, a mark from when he was 7, fell off a swing at the group home. Why do I feel like I just lost something I never knew I had? The rain doesn't stop until dawn. 2 men, 1 face, a secret buried for 32 years. When the truth finally surfaces, it won't just change their lives. It will destroy everything they thought they knew. Morning comes gray and cold. Do-jin's world is small and predictable. A studio apartment with a hot plate on the floor, a futon that doubles as his couch. He wakes at noon, eats instant noodles standing up, and gets ready for his evening shift. The same routine, every single day. But today, his hands won't stop shaking. He keeps seeing that man's face, that expensive suit, that look of disgust mixed with confusion. At the diner, Nyla is already there, setting up the register. She glances up when he walks in. You okay? He nods. It's a lie. She sees through it immediately. Years of watching her mother work 3 jobs taught Nyla how to read exhaustion, fear, and the quiet desperation of people barely holding on. We need to talk about last night, she says softly. Before Do-jin can answer, the door slams open. Do-hyun walks in. Same black suit, same expression carved from stone. But this time, he's brought reinforcements. 4 bodyguards spread out, each one positioning themselves to block an exit. One locks the front door from inside. Nyla stands up fast. What do you think you're doing? Do-hyun ignores her completely. He walks straight to Do-jin, stopping inches away. I know what you're trying to pull. Do-jin's voice comes out quiet. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me. Do-hyun's voice drops to something dangerous. You found out who I am. You got surgery to look like me. Now you're trying to extort money from my family. That's insane. Is it? Do-hyun pulls out his phone, shows him a photo. It's Do-jin, taken outside the diner last week. My security team has been watching you. You've been asking questions about Kim Group. I haven't asked anyone anything. Liar. The word lands like a slap. Nyla steps between them. Her heart pounds against her ribs, but her voice stays level. You're wrong about him. Do-hyun's eyes narrow dangerously. Excuse me? He works 60-hour weeks. He sends money to his landlord's sick daughter. He walks me home when it's late because he worries about my safety. She meets his gaze without flinching. Does that sound like a con artist? Do-hyun's jaw tightens. He's not used to being challenged, especially not by someone who should be terrified. But Nyla isn't terrified. She's angry. You walk in here with your bodyguards and your accusations. You insult him without evidence. You assume the worst because you can't imagine someone who looks like you being poor, being honest, being decent. The silence that follows is sharp enough to draw blood. Do-hyun's expression doesn't change, but something flickers behind his eyes, something he hasn't felt in years. Shame. He looks at Do-jin again, really looks this time, at the threadbare apron, the worn sneakers held together with tape, the exhaustion carved into every line of his face. "Prove you're not lying," Do-hyun says quietly. "Show me your identification." Do-jin hesitates. Then he reaches into his back pocket, pulls out a worn wallet. He hands over his national ID card, hands trembling slightly. Nyla watches, her instincts already screaming that something bigger is happening here. Do-hyun reads the card. His face goes completely blank. Name: Kim Do-jin. Date of birth: March 15th, 1993. He pulls out his own ID with fingers that aren't quite steady anymore. Name: Kim Do-hyun. Date of birth: March 15th, 1993. Nyla leans over, sees both cards side by side. Her eyes go wide. Do-hyun's voice is barely audible. "This has to be forged." But even he doesn't sound convinced. Do-jin's face has gone pale. "I've had that ID since I turned 18. The group home helped me get it. It's real." "That's not possible." "Then explain it," Nyla says, her voice cutting through the tension like a blade. "Explain how two men with identical faces and the same birth date could exist unless—" She stops. The realization hits her like ice water. "Unless you're brothers. Twins." The word hangs in the air between them, heavy with implications. Do-hyun takes a step back. His mind races, searching for explanations, loopholes, anything that makes rational sense. Nothing does. Do-jin sinks into a chair, his legs suddenly unable to hold him. "The group home told me I was abandoned. They said I was found outside a hospital in Incheon. No note, no family, just a baby in a blanket." Do-hyun's voice comes out strangled. "I was raised in Gangnam. My parents never mentioned a brother, not once. Not even a hint." He stops. His expression hardens as understanding dawns. "My parents knew." Nyla watches him carefully. She sees the exact moment the perfect controlled CEO realizes his entire life might be built on a foundation of lies. "We need answers," she says firmly. Do-hyun looks at her, then at Do-jin. "If this is real, if you actually are my brother, then someone deliberately kept us apart." Do-jin's voice is rough with emotion. "And if they hid it once, they'll do anything to keep it hidden now." The three of them stand in the narrow diner, rain drumming steadily against the windows. Outside, the world continues, oblivious. But inside this small space, something fundamental has shifted. A truth is beginning to surface, and when it fully emerges, it will destroy everything in its path. The truth always comes with a price, and sometimes that price is paid in blood and betrayal. If you're here for answers, hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss how this unfolds. The next 72 hours blur together. Do-hyun cancels board meetings, ignores calls from his father. His assistant, Mr. Choi, notices but knows better than to ask questions. When the CEO of Kim Group goes silent, you don't push. Do-jin takes time off from the diner for the first time in 3 years. His manager is confused but doesn't argue. There's something in Do-jin's eyes that says, don't. Nyla becomes their anchor, the one who keeps them both from spiraling into panic or denial. They meet in places where powerful men don't look. A 24-hour laundromat outside Itaewon, where washing machines hum loud enough to drown out conversation. A Korean spa cafe in Yeouido, where steam and anonymity blend together. An old hospital records room in the Northern District, where fluorescent lights flicker and dust coats every forgotten surface. At the laundromat, Do-jin tells his story. He sits on a hard plastic chair, hands clasped between his knees. Nyla perches on the edge of a washing machine. Do-hyun stands by the window with his arms crossed, listening. "I don't remember much from before I was 5, Do-jin says quietly. Just fragments. A woman's voice singing, the smell of jasmine, a lullaby I can't quite remember the words to. He pauses, his throat working. The group home said I was found outside Seoul Medical Center. No note, no name, just a baby wrapped in a blanket with Kim written on the tag. He looks up, meets Do-hyun's eyes. The staff gave me the name Do-jin because they thought it sounded hopeful, like I might have a future. Do-hyun's jaw tightens. He says nothing. Nyla's voice is gentle. Do you have any medical records? Anything from when you were an infant? Do-jin shakes his head. The group home didn't keep much documentation. When I aged out at 18, I just left. I didn't think there was anything worth finding. There's always something, Nyla says with quiet certainty. She's right. At the spa cafe, Nyla spreads photocopies across the low table. Birth announcements from March 1993, hospital registries, anything she could dig up through public records and online archives. She's good at this, better than either man expected. Years of surviving on scraps and determination taught her how to find information people don't want found. Look here, she says, pointing to a newspaper clipping. March 16, 1993. Kim Group announces the birth of an heir. Single child. No mention of twins whatsoever. Do-hyun leans forward. He's seen this clipping before. It hung in his father's office for years, framed in expensive wood. But here, Nyla pulls out another document, her finger tapping the faded print. This is a hospital registry from Asan Medical Center, March 15, 1993. 2 births recorded under the surname Kim. Same mother, same timestamp. Delivered 3 minutes apart. Do-jin's hands begin to shake. Do-hyun's voice is ice. That can't be right. My parents would have told me. Would they? Nyla looks at him directly. If your family wanted to hide a twin, they have the money and power to erase every trace. And in 1993, before digital records, it would have been even easier. Do-hyun doesn't answer, because she's absolutely right. At the old hospital records room, they find the final piece. The room is in the basement of a building scheduled for demolition. Boxes stacked to the ceiling, papers yellowed with age and neglect. The smell of mold is overwhelming. Nyla pulls on gloves from her bag, starts sorting through files. Do-jin helps, his movements careful and deliberate. Do-hyun stands in the doorway, watching. This is beneath my station, he thinks automatically. I shouldn't be in a basement sorting through old papers like some common clerk. But he doesn't leave. He can't. Found it. Nyla's voice cuts through the dusty silence. She holds up a folder. Kim family. March 1993. Inside are 2 birth certificates, both signed by the same doctor. Both dated March 15, 1993 at 11:47 p.m. and 11:50 p.m. First child, Kim Do-hyun, male, weight 2.8 kilograms. Second child, Kim Do-jin, male, weight 3.1 kilograms. Do-hyun's hands shake when he takes the folder. He reads it twice, 3 times. This is real, he whispers. Do-jin slides down to sit on the floor, his back against a stack of moldy boxes. They gave me away. My own parents gave me away, like I was nothing. Nyla kneels beside him immediately. Her hand finds his, squeezes tight. They didn't have the right to do that, but you survived anyway. You're here. You're real. Do-jin looks at her steady gaze, her quiet strength that never wavers. She's the only thing keeping me together right now, he thinks. Do-hyun's phone buzzes insistently. He ignores it. It buzzes again and again. Finally, he answers with barely controlled anger.
What? His father's voice is sharp with fury. Where are you? You missed the quarterly board meeting. The investors are furious. This is unacceptable. I'm handling something important. Important? His father's tone turns dangerous. You don't get to decide what's important, Do-hyun. You're the heir. You have responsibilities that take precedence over everything else. I'm busy. Handle it faster. Get back here immediately. That's not a request. The line goes dead. Do-hyun stares at his phone. Then he looks at Do-jin. At the brother he never knew existed. The brother someone deliberately stole from him. Father knew. He had to know. And he said nothing. The anger that rises in him is cold and razor sharp. We need to confront them, he says. Nyla stands up fast. Not yet. If your family knows we're investigating, they'll destroy the evidence, and maybe destroy us with it. Do-hyun's eyes narrow. You really think they'd go that far? Neela meets his gaze without blinking. I think people with power will do anything to keep it. Anything at all. She's right. He knows she's right. But across the city, in the glass tower of Kim Group headquarters, Chairman Kim sits at his massive desk. His assistant stands nervously in front of him. Sir, there's something you should know. Do-hyun has been distracted lately. He's been seen with an unidentified man, someone who bears a striking resemblance to him. Chairman Kim's expression doesn't change. Show me. The assistant pulls out his phone, displays a photo taken from a distance. Chairman Kim stares at the image. At Do-jin's face, older now, worn by hardship, but unmistakably familiar. For the first time in 30 years, he feels genuine fear crawling up his spine. Find out everything about him, and then make sure he disappears, permanently. His assistant swallows hard. Sir, do you mean? I mean exactly what I said. This problem gets solved. Tonight. Some secrets are buried so deep you forget they were ever alive. But DNA doesn't lie, and the truth has a way of rising from the grave. The truth doesn't come all at once. It arrives in fragments. Hospital records that contradict official documents. A retired nurse who remembers twins but was paid handsomely to stay silent. A lawyer who drafted separation papers in the middle of the night and received enough money to forget. Nyla finds them all. She's relentless. She calls old numbers found in phone books, tracks down retired medical staff through social media, digs through archives that were supposed to be destroyed decades ago. Do-jin helps where he can, but mostly he watches her work with something close to awe. She's not afraid, he thinks. She should be terrified, but she just keeps going. Do-hyun, meanwhile, is quietly unraveling. He goes through the motions at work, attends meetings on autopilot, signs documents without really reading them, but his mind is elsewhere, stuck in an endless loop. He keeps seeing his mother's face, her gentle smile, the way she used to tuck him in at night and whisper, "You're my precious boy, my only son." Only son. The lie burns like acid. One night, he goes to his parents' estate, the massive house in an exclusive northern district surrounded by high walls and manicured gardens. He uses his key, walks through the front door like he's done 1,000 times before. His mother is in the sitting room, working on embroidery. She looks up, smiles warmly. Do-hyun, what a lovely surprise. He doesn't sit down, doesn't return the smile. I need to ask you something. Her smile falters slightly. Of course, dear. Did you give birth to one son or two? The needle slips from her fingers. A bead of blood appears on her fingertip. She presses a tissue to it, doesn't look at him. What are you talking about? Answer the question, please. She stands slowly, her hands trembling.
Do-hyun, you're scaring me.
Answer the question.
The silence stretches like a wire pulled taut. Then, so quietly he almost doesn't hear it. 2. The word detonates like a bomb in the quiet room. Do-hyun's legs go weak. He sinks onto the couch, his breath coming in short gasps. Why? Why would you do that? His mother's face crumples. Your father said we couldn't raise both. The company was in crisis back then. A scandal about twins, about choosing one over the other, would have destroyed us. He said we had to make a choice. So you chose me. We chose to give you the best life possible. Her voice breaks. We made sure the other baby went to a safe place. We arranged for him to be cared for. You abandoned him. Do-hyun's voice is colder than she's ever heard it. You threw your own son away and never looked back. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? He stands, towers over her. Tell me exactly what it was like to carry 2 sons in your body and then decide one wasn't worth keeping. She starts to cry. Soft, broken sobs that shake her shoulders. Do-hyun feels absolutely nothing. He walks out of the house, doesn't look back, doesn't say goodbye. At the diner, Nyla and Do-jin are closing up when Do-hyun arrives. His suit is wrinkled for the first time in his life. His tie hangs loose. He looks like he hasn't slept in days. It's all true, he says without preamble. Every single piece of it. Do-jin goes completely still. My mother confirmed everything. You were born first, 3 minutes before me. They kept me because I was smaller, because they thought I'd be easier to control. His voice cracks. They gave you away because you were inconvenient, because the optics were bad. Do-jin's hands curl into fists. I don't want your apology. I'm not offering one. Do-hyun meets his eyes directly. I'm offering the truth and justice, if you want it. Nyla steps forward. What kind of justice are you talking about? Do-hyun's smile is sharp and cold. The kind that destroys empires. But before anyone can respond, Do-hyun's phone rings. He glances at the screen, his expression darkening. It's my father's private line. He answers. What? Whatever he hears makes his face go pale. I understand. He hangs up, looks at Do-jin and Nyla. We need to move. Now. My father just activated his security team. They're coming for you, Do-jin. Nyla's blood runs cold. What does that mean? Do-hyun's voice is grim. It means my father has decided you're a problem that needs to be eliminated. Justice and revenge walk a thin line. Sometimes the only difference is who's left standing when the dust settles. The Kim family doesn't forgive threats. They eliminate them. Within 48 hours, Do-jin's life systematically falls apart. His landlord evicts him with no explanation. Just a curt notice slipped under his door at midnight. His manager at the diner calls, voice apologetic and strained. I'm sorry, Do-jin. Corporate headquarters called directly. They're letting you go. Something about restructuring. My hands are tied. Do-jin knows better. Someone with real power is pulling strings. The same invisible hands that connect corporate boardrooms to the kind of organized enforcement that makes problems disappear quietly. It's not just business anymore. It's the dark machinery of control, where issues are solved through intimidation and fear. He moves into Neela's apartment, a cramped studio in Sindang-dong, barely big enough for one person, let alone 2. But she doesn't hesitate even for a second. You need a place. I have space. End of discussion. Do-jin insists on sleeping on the floor. Nyla argues, but eventually gives in, recognizing the pride that's keeping him together right now. At night, they lie in the dark, separated by a few feet, and a lifetime of different experiences. Why are you helping me? Dojin asks into the darkness. Nyla's voice is soft but firm. Because no one helped my mom when she needed it most. Because I know exactly what it's like to be invisible. To be treated as disposable. She pauses. And because your story, both of yours, is motivational in a way I didn't expect. Watching you fight back against a system designed to crush you? That takes real courage. The kind most people don't have. You're not disposable, Nyla. Neither are you, Dojin. The silence that follows feels warm and safe, but the danger is growing exponentially.
Do-hyun receives a formal summons. A family council meeting. Mandatory attendance. He goes, of course. He's never defied his father before. Not once in 32 years. The meeting room is designed to intimidate. Glass walls, steel chairs, a table that could seat 20 but only holds 5 people. His father, his mother, 3 senior board members who've profited from the family's darker dealings. Men who understand how to make problems vanish with the brutal efficiency of organized crime operations. Chairman Kim sits at the head of the table, his expression carved from stone. Sit down. Do-hyun sits. We've heard disturbing rumors, his father begins, voice measured, about a man claiming to be your twin brother. Spreading lies, attempting to extort money from our family. They're not lies. His father's eyes narrow dangerously. Excuse me? I said they're not lies. Do-hyun's voice stays steady. I have proof. Birth certificates, hospital records, witness statements from medical staff. He's my brother. He's your son. And you've known the entire time. The room goes deathly silent. One of the board members clears his throat nervously. If this information becomes public, the scandal will destroy everything we've built. His father finishes coldly. Which is precisely why it cannot be true. Or more accurately, why it cannot be proven. But it is true, Do-hyun insists. Then we handle it quietly and permanently. Chairman Kim's tone is final. The man will be offered compensation to disappear. If he refuses, we'll employ alternative methods. Do-hyun stands abruptly. If anyone touches him, I will personally burn this company to the ground. His father's expression doesn't change. Sit down, Do-hyun. No. Sit down immediately. Make me. The standoff lasts 10 seconds. 20, 30. Then Chairman Kim waves a dismissive hand. You're excused. Think very carefully about your next move. You have everything to lose. He has nothing. Who do you think wins that calculation? Do-hyun walks out, jaw clenched. But he knows his father is absolutely right about the power dynamics. That night, black sedans surround Nyla's apartment building. Dojin sees them first. He's at the window, unable to sleep, when he spots the vehicles parked strategically across the street. Professional. Coordinated. Nyla, wake up now. She's alert in seconds, pulling on shoes. Back exit. Go. They slip out through the rear stairwell, into the alley behind the building. The men don't notice at first, but then one looks up, shouts. Nyla grabs Dojin's hand. Run! They run. Through narrow streets slick with rain, past shuttered shops and closed restaurants, into an old industrial complex near the river. The smell of rust and motor oil fills the cold air. Shipping containers stacked like a metal maze. Dojin pulls her behind a container, presses a finger to his lips. They hear footsteps, voices speaking in clipped tones. The men are close, very close. Nyla's heart pounds so hard she's sure they'll hear it. Dojin's hand is warm around hers. anchoring her. I should be terrified right now, she thinks. But somehow, with him here, I'm not. The footsteps fade gradually. They wait another 10 minutes. 20. Finally, Dojin exhales. We can't keep running forever. Then we fight back, Nyla says with fierce determination. How? We have nothing. No power, no money, no. We have the truth. She looks at him, her eyes blazing. And we have each other. Sometimes that's enough to change everything. Dojin desperately wants to believe her. But across the city, in a penthouse office lit only by city lights, Chairman Kim makes a phone call. His voice is cold and precise. Bring him in. Use whatever level of force is necessary. I want this resolved before sunrise. Power doesn't surrender easily. It fights, it destroys, it eliminates threats. But so does love when it has nothing left to lose. They come for Dojin at dawn. 6 men, professional operatives, efficient and emotionless. They find him at the industrial complex, where he and Nyla have been hiding for 2 days, surviving on vending machine food and fear. Neela tries to stop them. She throws herself in front of Dojin, screaming for help in the empty morning air. One of the men grabs her arms, pins them behind her back with practiced ease. Don't hurt her, Dojin says. His voice is surprisingly calm, resigned. I'll come with you. Just please, don't hurt her. They drag him toward a black van. Nyla watches helplessly as he disappears into the vehicle, which speeds away into early morning traffic. She calls Do-hyun. He doesn't answer. She calls again and again. Finally, he picks up, voice rough with sleep. What's wrong? They took him. Do-hyun goes silent. Who took him? Your father's people. They took Dojin. I don't know where. I'll find him. His voice hardens. I promise you, I'll find him. He hangs up. Nyla stands in the middle of the empty street, shaking violently. People start to emerge for their morning commute, walking past her like she doesn't exist. She's never felt more alone. I should have protected him better, she thinks, guilt crushing her chest. I should have done more. Her phone buzzes, a text from an unknown number. If you value your life and his, stop investigating immediately. Forget everything you've learned. Leave Seoul. This is your only warning. She deletes the message with shaking fingers. Then she starts walking with purpose, pulling up Do-hyun's number again. In a basement room beneath Kim Group headquarters, Dojin sits in a metal chair. His wrists are bound with plastic zip ties. The room is freezing, lit by a single harsh bulb. Chairman Kim enters alone. He doesn't sit, just stands there, looking down at Dojin like he's examining something distasteful. You look remarkably like him, he says conversationally. It's quite unsettling, actually. Dojin doesn't respond. Won't give him the satisfaction. I'll make this very simple. You take 10 million won and disappear. Change your name. Move to another city. Forget you ever had a brother. Forget this family exists. No. No? Chairman Kim's voice softens dangerously. You believe you have a choice in this matter? Everyone has a choice, even me. Not you. He leans down, his face inches from Dojin's. You're a mistake, a problem I should have solved 32 years ago when you were born. But I was weak then. I let your mother convince me to send you away instead of... He stops, straightens up. But I'm not weak anymore. I've learned how to handle problems permanently. Dojin's voice stays steady despite his fear. If you kill me, Do-hyun will destroy you. You know he will. Do-hyun will do exactly what I tell him to do. He always has. He's my son. So am I. The words hang in the cold air. Chairman Kim's expression doesn't change. No, you're a liability. There's a difference. The door bursts open. Do-hyun walks in, and he's not alone. Behind him are two police detectives. Chairman Kim's confident expression finally cracks. What is this? Detective Park, please explain. Do-hyun says calmly. The detective steps forward. Chairman Kim, we're investigating allegations of kidnapping, criminal intimidation, and conspiracy to commit assault. We'll need you to come to the station for questioning. This is absurd. We have recordings. Do-hyun interrupts, pulling out his phone. Every threat, every illegal order, every conversation about making my brother disappear. He plays one. Chairman Kim's voice, cold and clear. Use whatever level of force is necessary. I want this resolved before sunrise. The detective's expression hardens. Sir, you'll need to come with us now. Chairman Kim looks at Do-hyun, betrayal and fury warring on his face. You're destroying your own family. No, Do-hyun says quietly. You destroyed it 32 years ago when you split us apart. I'm just making sure it doesn't happen again. The detective moves forward with handcuffs. Sir, turn around, please. Chairman Kim's face goes white as he realizes this is actually happening. He looks around frantically, but his bodyguards are nowhere to be found. Do-hyun had them detained an hour ago. You'll regret this, Chairman Kim says to Do-hyun. Everything you have, everything you are. I gave you that. Do-hyun's voice is ice. And you took something far more valuable from me. My brother, my family, my truth. The detective leads Chairman Kim out of the room. Do-hyun immediately moves to Do-jin, pulling out a pocket knife to cut the zip ties. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't get here sooner. Do-jin's wrists are raw and bleeding where the ties cut in. He stands on shaky legs. You came. That's what matters. For a moment, they just stand there, looking at each other. Then Do-hyun pulls his brother into a tight embrace. It's the first time they've truly touched as brothers who know the truth. And it feels like coming home after a lifetime of being lost. Outside, the sun is rising over Seoul. Do-hyun and Do-jin stand on the sidewalk, breathing hard, adrenaline still coursing through them. Thank you, Do-jin says quietly. Do-hyun doesn't answer with words. He just keeps his hand on his brother's shoulder, grounding them both. Behind them, through the glass doors, they can see Chairman Kim being led away in handcuffs. The mighty CEO reduced to just another man who thought he was above the law. Nyla comes running up, breathless. When she sees Do-jin safe, she crashes into him, wrapping her arms around him tight. Don't ever scare me like that again, she says fiercely. Do-jin holds her just as tight. I won't. I promise. Do-hyun watches them and feels something he hasn't felt in years. Hope. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is choose the person over the system, even when it costs you everything you've ever known. The emergency board meeting happens 3 days later. Every major stakeholder is present. Investors, senior board members, media representatives. It's supposed to be damage control after the chairman's arrest made headlines. But Do-hyun has a different agenda entirely. He walks in with Neela and Do-jin. The room goes silent. Whispers ripple through the crowd like wind through grass. The interim board chairman, an elderly man named Director Choi, stands. This is a private meeting. Those two aren't authorized. They're staying, Do-hyun says firmly. He walks to the front, pulls out a USB drive, plugs it into the projector with steady hands. The massive screen lights up. Birth certificates, hospital records, witness statements, side-by-side photos of two babies, identical in every way. 32 years ago, Do-hyun begins, his voice carrying to every corner of the room. My parents gave birth to twin sons. One was kept and groomed to be the heir. One was discarded and left at a hospital with nothing but a blanket. Shocked gasps and murmurs fill the room. The son who was kept became CEO in training. The son who was discarded became a waiter, working night shifts just to survive. He gestures to Do-jin. This is Kim Do-jin, my twin brother, my father's other son. The family secret that nearly cost a man his life. Director Choi's face has gone pale. This is slander. This is documented truth. Do-hyun clicks to the next slide. DNA test results, certified by 3 independent laboratories. 99.9% genetic match. We're identical twins. Here's the hospital registry showing 2 births. Here are the nurses who confirmed the separation. Here's the lawyer who was paid to falsify documents. The room erupts, investors shouting questions, board members demanding explanations, media cameras flashing. Do-hyun raises his hand. Silence falls gradually. 3 days ago, my father ordered Kim Do-jin kidnapped and threatened. He planned to eliminate his own son to protect the company's reputation. His voice hardens with righteous anger. When my brother resurfaced after 32 years, instead of welcoming him home, my father tried to make him disappear permanently. He clicks to security footage. The timestamp is clear. Do-jin being dragged into a van, struggling, Nyla screaming for help. This happened under Chairman Kim's direct orders. I have recordings of every conversation, every threat, every illegal command he gave. He plays one. Chairman Kim's voice, cold and unmistakable. Bring him in. Use whatever level of force is necessary. The room goes deathly silent. Director Choi stands slowly. If this is true, it's all verified, Do-hyun interrupts. The police have arrested Chairman Kim. He's facing charges of kidnapping, criminal conspiracy, and attempted assault. The evidence is overwhelming. Another board member speaks up, voice shaking. What does this mean for Kim Group? Do-hyun looks around the room, meeting eyes with the people who've known him since childhood. The people who helped build this empire alongside his father. It means the company has a choice. You can continue operating under the same corrupt system that valued reputation over human life. Or you can change. Be better. Actually live up to the values you claim to represent. He pauses, letting that sink in. As for me, I'm stepping down as heir effective immediately. The room explodes again. Shouts of protest and confusion. Do-hyun, you can't! Director Choi starts. I can, and I am. Do-hyun's voice cuts through the chaos. I don't want an empire built on lies and cruelty. I don't want power that comes from destroying innocent people. I want... He looks at Do-jin. I want my brother back. I want a real family, not this. Do-jin stands slowly, clearly uncomfortable with all the attention, but his voice is steady when he speaks. I don't want your company either. I don't want money, or power, or a fancy title. He looks around the room. I want the truth acknowledged. I want my existence validated. And I want to make sure no other child is ever thrown away because they're inconvenient. Nyla watches both of them with fierce pride. Director Choi sinks back into his chair, looking decades older suddenly. This will change everything. Good, Do-hyun says simply. Everything needed to change. He unplugs the USB drive, pockets it, and walks out. Do-jin and Nyla follow, Behind them, the board descends into chaos. Arguments, accusations, frantic phone calls. But the three of them keep walking, leaving the glass tower and all its corruption behind. In the hallway, Do-hyun's mother is waiting. She looks small and fragile in a way she never has before. Her hands twist nervously. Do-hyun, her voice breaks. I'm so sorry for everything. Do-hyun stops, looks at her with an expression that's not quite forgiveness, but not quite anger either. I know you are, Mother. Will you ever forgive me? He's quiet for a long moment. The question hangs heavy between them. That's not my forgiveness to give. He looks at Dojin. Ask him, not me. Dojin meets his birth mother's eyes. She looks at him with such raw pain and regret that it physically hurts to witness. I don't know if I can forgive you, Dojin says honestly. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But he takes a shaky breath. Maybe someday we can start over. If you're willing to earn it. Really earn it. She nods, tears streaming down her face. Thank you. Thank you for even considering it. They walk past her toward the elevator. She watches them go, both her sons, walking side by side for the first time in their lives. The truth doesn't set you free immediately. First, it burns away everything false, everything built on lies. Only then can something real grow in its place. 6 months later, the diner opens on a Thursday morning in early spring. It's small, just 8 tables, but the windows shine clean, the floors are polished to a gleam, and the air is rich with fresh coffee and something baking in the oven. A hand-painted sign hangs above the door. The Hidden Heirs, where found family gathers. Inside, Do-jin flips pancakes on the griddle with practiced ease. He's wearing a simple black apron, hair tied back with a bandana. No corporate uniform. No name tag with a number. Just a man doing work he chose for himself. Do-hyun wipes down tables nearby. At first, manual labor felt strange, a former CEO bussing tables and refilling coffee. But he's learned to find freedom in the simplicity. No board meetings that go nowhere. No investors demanding his soul. No father controlling his every decision. Just honest work. The kind that feels motivational, not because it's glamorous, but because it's authentically his. Nyla manages the register, her locks cascading down her back today, adorned with small gold cuffs. When she looks up from counting the morning's earnings, she's smiling. We're in the black again, she announces. Barely, but we're making it work. Do-hyun laughs. That's more inspirational than any profit report I ever presented to shareholders. The morning rush begins. A steady stream of customers, locals who've adopted the diner as their spot, curious tourists who heard about the story behind it, students studying over endless coffee refills. The story made national headlines. Chaebol heir walks away from billion-dollar fortune to open diner with long-lost twin brother. The romance of it captured people's imagination. Not romance in the traditional sense, but the deep human story of family reclaimed against all odds. But the real story is quieter, more personal. It lives in small moments that no camera catches. The way Do-hyun finally learned to make coffee without burning it, grinning with childlike pride at his first decent cup. The way Do-jin teaches him to crack eggs one-handed, both of them laughing when Do-hyun gets shell in the pan. The way Nyla keeps them grounded when they argue over ridiculous things like optimal pancake thickness, her laughter breaking the tension. At lunch, they take their break together. Sit in the back booth, eating the daily special, homemade kimchi fried rice with a perfectly fried egg on top, the yolk still runny. I've been thinking, Do-hyun says between bites. We should expand, maybe open a second location next year. Do-jin raises an eyebrow. Already planning expansion? We've been open 6 months. Why not? We're good at this. People love it here. We're barely breaking even most weeks. But we're happy. Do-hyun looks at him seriously. Isn't that worth more than profit margins? Do-jin smiles, a real smile that reaches his eyes. Yeah, it really is. Nyla leans back, watching them with quiet satisfaction. There's something deeply beautiful about this. Two men who started as strangers, now brothers in every sense that matters. Two worlds that should never have intersected, now woven together into something new. And her. The girl from a working-class neighborhood who became the bridge between them. The witness who refused to stay silent. This is where I belong, she thinks with certainty. Do-jin catches her eye. Smiles. It's such a small gesture, but it warms her all the way through. Later, after they've locked up and cleaned everything, they walk home together. The three of them, as has become their routine. Do-hyun peels off at his apartment building, a modest place in a middle-class neighborhood. No penthouse views, no marble floors. Just enough space for one person learning how to live simply. See you tomorrow morning, he says. 6 a.m. sharp, Do-jin confirms. Don't be late again. Do-hyun grins. That was one time. He disappears into his building, and Nyla and Do-jin continue walking. Their hands brush once, twice. On the third time, Do-jin deliberately takes her hand, intertwining their fingers. She looks at him, a question in her eyes. Is this okay? He asks quietly. She squeezes his hand. More than okay. They walk in comfortable silence. The city hums around them, neon signs flickering to life as evening falls, cars rushing past, the distant sound of music from an open window. But in their small bubble, everything feels still and perfect. This isn't the dramatic romance of fairy tales or movies. It's quieter than that, more honest, built on shared survival and deep mutual respect rather than grand gestures or expensive gifts. The kind of romance that grows slowly, rooted in seeing each other clearly and choosing each other anyway. Thank you, Do-jin says into the evening air. For what specifically? For believing in me when nobody else did. For fighting for me when you had every reason to walk away. For... He stops, swallows hard. For seeing me. Really seeing me. Not as a charity case, or a victim, or a problem to solve. Just as me. Nyla's voice is soft, but certain. You are always worth seeing, Do-jin. You just needed someone to look properly. He stops walking, turns to face her fully under a streetlight that casts them both in warm gold. I don't have much to offer you. No money or status or security. Just you. She reaches up, touches his face gently. That's more than enough. That's everything. He kisses her. Gentle and tentative at first, like he's afraid she'll disappear if he holds too tight. But she doesn't disappear. She kisses him back, rising on her toes, her arms wrapping around his neck. And for the first time in his entire life, Do-jin feels completely whole. Back at the diner, Do-hyun stands outside in the evening air, looking up at their hand-painted sign. The Hidden Heirs. It's a good name, an honest name. He thinks about his father, currently awaiting trial in a detention center. About the empire he walked away from without a single regret. About the life he could have had, all that power and wealth and influence. And he doesn't regret his choice, not for a single second. His phone buzzes, a message from Do-jin. Mom stopped by the diner today while you were at the bank. We talked for a few minutes. It was okay. Small steps. Do-hyun smiles, types back. Small steps are how you walk 1,000 miles. Proud of you, brother. He pockets his phone, looks up at the stars barely visible through the city's light pollution. For the first time in my life, he thinks, I know what freedom actually smells like. It smells like coffee and fresh bread, like hope and laughter, like people who chose to be family instead of people who were forced together by blood and obligation. And that's more than enough.
The camera pulls back slowly, cinematically. The diner glows warm against the darkening evening sky. Inside, the lights have been turned off for the night. But you can imagine it in full life. The counter where strangers become friends. The stools where people sit and share their stories. The kitchen where 3 people found each other against impossible odds. The rain starts again. Soft and steady, but not lonely this time. It feels like a blessing, like the world washing itself clean, like a new beginning after a long, dark winter. We all search for family in this life. Sometimes we find it in blood and biology, but sometimes, maybe even more often, we build it from scratch with people who refuse to give up on us. This story is about 2 brothers separated by wealth and power, reunited by courage and truth. It's about a young woman who chose justice over safety. It's about the price of secrets and the cost of freedom. If this story touched something in you, if you believe in second chances, in the courage to choose love over power, in the possibility of healing even the deepest wounds, hit that subscribe button right now. Every week, we bring you stories that prove it's never too late to come home. It's never too late to choose family over empire. It's never too late to tell the truth. Here's my question for you. If you discovered a twin you never knew existed, would you fight for them the way Do-hyun fought for Do-jin? Or would you protect the comfortable life you already built? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and your perspectives matter. And remember this truth. Family isn't always who raised you. Sometimes, it's who refuses to abandon you. Who sees your worth when the whole world says you're worthless. Who chooses you every single day, even when it costs them everything. That's the kind of family worth fighting for. That's the kind of love that changes the world.